Staying with rugby, he made his Springbok debut on the 8th of November 2000 when he ran on against Argentina. He toured with us Boks in Argentina, Ireland, Wales, as well as England. Since hanging up his boots, he has, well, he's a third of a trio known as the Room Dividers. We all know them. He has been on this show numerous occasions, speaking on all rugby matters. Thando Manana joins us from our Port Elizabeth studios to chat about his new book, being a Black Springbok. And in studio, that shot you just had there, Sbu Mjikeliso, editor of Kickoff magazine and ghostwriter to Thando Manana's autobiography. Let's start with Thando. I'm sure we have a picture of Thando. Thando, good evening. Welcome to the show. How are you, Papa?
First and foremost, good evening to the viewers as well as Tabiso and my brother-in-arms, Sbu Mjikeliso.
Yeah, Thando, let's start with you since we have you there. It's finally here. We have spoken about it. We've been waiting for it. In a couple of hours' time, everyone, South Africa and the world gets to see being a Black Springbok.
Yeah, well, I think for me, a couple of days people ask me, am I excited? I don't think it's about an excitement. It's more of an achievement where finally we get to hear, you know, a story of an African black person talking about his trials and tribulations in achieving a goal that many people saw him not being able to achieve. And I did that through perseverance, I think for myself as well, through being determined and achieving what I set myself to be. I'm a person like any normal person in this country, whether black, white, or yellow. And for me, what was important was for me to really talk to myself, my inner strength, as I traveled the long journey to finally achieving what I want to achieve. And also, it's not a matter of test or the matter of how many games you played for South Africa, but for me, what was core was to finally reach where many people aspire to attain that. And I think the book for me, when we started to write, I think from 2014 with Sbu, was a matter of just putting those puzzles together on really penning down the sweat and tears, the blood, and also I think for me has been the good moments as well. It's not a story about feeling sorry or wanting people to feel sorry, but it's more of a journey that many people can aspire to be. I think this story is a story that can inspire many, many parents that in this day and age are worried about their kids' future. If they get to start to read the book, they will understand what it finally means to be a Black Springbok in South Africa. You spoke about Super Rugby also being taken away from this region. I hail from this region. Therefore, it's important for me that I start from this region and that I move across the country, because I just get a sense that we need to keep Eastern Province, Eastern Cape border people very positive in making sure that in a couple of years' time, they'll get back to the top. They have to start at home. Charity begins at home. And I think for me, credit must go to Sbu Mjikeliso, who I said to him, he's got to believe that we've got something to write. And we did so. And thanks to Ken Macmillan, the publishers, I think Tabiso stole. I can tell you one thing, is for me, from my side, I'm quite grateful that this book will hit the shelf and people will finally get to know what it really means to be someone of color and also donning that green and gold jersey.
Let's bring Sbu Mjikeliso right into that, right there in that conversation, Thando. Sbu, Thando, right there, you can tell the passion that this man, I've known him for years. We've spoken about rugby. We go to him, especially in that part of the world where he is. Right now, we're talking dreams and what kids are looking out there. You are ghostwriting this book with him. There's stories that I'm sure in that book that we sit back and we'll be surprised.
There are even stories that couldn't even make it into the book that had to be edited out. It was so much because the deal between him and I was that Thando, we talk about the truth. He doesn't edit out in his own mind and say, no, I don't want the bad or I only want the good and this and that. Our deal from the get-go, I'll tell you everything. And we had that agreement. And we followed it through. He's a very honest guy. He never shied away from whatever it is that was going to come his way during his playing career. And he has translated that into the book. He is written with a refreshing candor that you will seldom ever find in South African literature. You won't find a book where, you know, you don't really, you're not protecting anybody. Most sports biographies you'll find is that someone still has an interest in and they're protecting another entity.
You're speaking about that. An interesting part, Thando, you spoke about, there's a part where a mini Kamstaldraad. I remember when we had a Kamstaldraad hit South Africa, we're like, oh, crikey, what is going on here? Speak to us about that. What is that all about? I don't want to give everything on the book away, but just to tantalize the readers out there.
Well, I think it's more to kill the, it kills the brain in a sense. I think it's barbaric. It's a training that is there to really demoralize one's spirit, but interpret it as something that can make you come out a bit stronger and be able to play for one another, whilst it deteriorates. And I think it's one of the most inhumane exercises. If it comes from the pre-democracy era, then certainly it was not the right things or the right way to do it. As you saw as well in the 2003 Rugby World Cup, we went as far as the quarterfinal. Did it help? No, it didn't help. What's the reason? Because it's inhumane. It's not something that humans can do. Remember I said in the book, only on a day, I remember I said to Sbu, we ate half a banana for the whole day. You tell me in your just mind if a human being can survive on half a banana. And those are the things that we had to encounter whilst we're there at the Kamsdaldraad.
That is right there. I mean, how do you put this to paper, Sbu? I mean, again, when you hear a story like this, somehow you must put it down, reflect it. And how tough was it? How easy was it to put it down?
It's the toughest job in the world to write from the first person perspective. I had to be there in 2000, and there's a bit of an age gap between, and a generational gap between me and Thando, you know. But it's a very rare skill for a writer, for you to listen attentively and translate the voice of the person whose story it is that you're trying to tell. And if there's one thing I hope to have done very well is that I'm anonymous in the story, you know, but I've managed to make it correlate. I've managed to make it make sense. But it is Thando's story. I've wanted to get Thando's voice as much as I can to transfer these feelings. I wanted his facial expressions, the tone of his voice, to be apparent in the book as you're reading it. I wanted it to be all Thando. And when he talks about an experience like Kamsdaldraad, we went over it, I forget how many times, and you have to be intimate between storyteller and writer. We spent many nights with Thando at his house, at my house. We have that relationship whereby there were nights when we weren't recording and we were getting to know each other. And I think for me, those nights formed the backbone of this book. We still continue to spend as much time as we possibly can together. And you can never translate someone's voice, you can never translate someone's pain unless you've gone to their home. I've been to New Brighton, I've met his mother, I've been where he grew up, I've been to the field where he used to play, I've met the people he used to play with, I've eaten with him on the table. So unless you start from scratch and sort of smell the kitchen that he grew up in, you won't be able to write a book like
Thando, once we speak, and there's some pictures of you with the room dividers as we know you now, and there's some pictures of you, family, friends, fellow colleagues. The journey you've traveled over the years, from a Springbok to a colleague to a friend. I mean, I'd like to think of you. It's been a long journey, and what can people take out of this book of you?
Well, I think nothing is impossible. I think in South Africa we need a lot of positive stories. We need a lot of African people telling their stories. Every day people can tell a story. It's not a Thando Manana story. Yourself, Tabi, so you have a story to tell. And it's just a matter of you having that backbone and saying you want to put pen into paper, see really it makes sense and put it out there. People will enjoy the story. But also for me, it's important that as we grow the sport, as we want people to take more time playing the sport, getting guys involved, former players, is also they have a story to share. Let's get it out there and bring out a very positive vibe within the people that are involved in the game. It worries me that we have selfish administrators in the game that continue to suffocate the raw talent in this country. Also, the problem is using the word transformation. I never use the word transformation because I believed in the story. People will ask, why do you call your book Being a Black Springbok? It's because I'm black. I cannot change the color of my skin. It is my story. And therefore that story is for people to read and really go deep into my life and see the amount of sacrifices I made, Tabiso. You know, walking from New Brighton to the colored area, which was in Galvindale, walking every day of my life, going to school, trying to get a better education. But also within that period, finding a niche and finding a love for a sport. and that I enjoyed. But then finding that sport, knowing I've got talent, and making sure I use that God-given talent, because I think we are here in life for a purpose. And my purpose was rightful that. It's just a pity that people, because of my opinions, and I'm too much opinionated, they saw a way to suffocate. But thanks to God, He gave me other ideas to go and look at other direction. Today, I still do mostly rugby stories and rugby related things because I still love the game. They could not shut me down whilst I played. And even now, they try to do so, but they can't because it's within, it's a love. It's a love of a relationship for the oval ball.
Thando, I'm going to have to stop you there. We're running out of time. Last word from you, Sbu. Thando's in PE. We're launching soon. Give us a rundown.
Yeah, launches in PE, East London first, my hometown, at Buffalo Park, Port Elizabeth, Opera House, then back to Joburg, and then Cape Town later. The details of which Thando's Facebook, Thando's Twitter, my Twitter account, Pan Macmillan's Twitter account. It's all over social media. The launches are open to the public. All you have to do is RSVP, and hopefully people will come and join us and share in this very, very special moment for both myself and Thando. I know his family, his whole family will be there in all the launches, which will be amazing. My family will also be there. And I hope to see you there, at least in Johannesburg.
Yeah, I'd like to indeed. As we see, that's the cover of the book right there on those screens right now. Being a Black Springbok by Thando Manana, well, the Thando Manana story, as well as Sbu Mjikeliso, who's the ghostwriter. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us. I still need my signed copy. Thando, signed copy, Papa.
I got you.
Yeah, you'll get it. It's on me, Tabiso.
Thanks, my guys. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us right indeed in Sports on Prime.